Today I'm going to tell you guys how to make some money in Grand RP. Now I'm not talking about that basic little bits of money from doing these side jobs and things like that. I'm talking about real money, so you could save up, buy a Bugatti, buy a house, buy a business, and things like that. These are some of the best ways that you can make money in Grand RP. So let's get into it. The very first thing is just going to be playing the game. The second you load in, you'll see a daily login screen. And if you scroll down, every day you log in, you get bigger and bigger monetary prizes. By the end of it, you'll have a ton of money. You also get a free level 3 backpack and a free legendary transport, which is awesome. And then of course, when you click OK and get today's gift, you skip through any stolen cars and crap like that, you'll see this screen pop up where if you play for 4 hours, you get 55k. But you can also increase that amount if you wanted to. Open up your phone, go to the investments tab in the bottom right, and then go to daytime free investments. All you gotta do is click one of them, and whichever one you click, if you complete it by the end of the day or when tsunami hits, you will get that amount of money. So if you know you're gonna play for 8 hours, always set it on this one so you get 150 grand. The same thing goes for all of the other ones. Just think about how long you're going to play for today, set it to that one, and then you're good to go. Now, of course, you could do these daytime ones. I really never do them. I focus on the long-term investments, and mine is about to pay out, which is great. You could pick to invest in one from 100 hours of playtime all the way up to 500 hours. I selected 500 hours, I invested $5 million, and I will get an additional $5 million if I play for 500 hours. And look, I only got 15 hours left, which means I just doubled my initial investment. It's definitely a great way to make money. Not the fastest, but I would highly recommend messing around with this every day, or, do it for the long term. Next up is stealing cars. You can make a bunch of money from this, but you have to be level 3, and a lot of people don't understand that. When you're level 1, you don't make as much money, but if you steal a bunch of cars, you'll go up to level 2. Same thing goes from level 2 to level 3. Once you get to level 3, you can make a ton of money from stealing cars. Just depends on which car you end up stealing. Obviously, the higher level you are, the better the car that you could steal. Which means if you steal the most expensive car in the game, you're going to profit $1.5 million. There are some things that you're going to need. You're going to want to open your phone and go onto the dark net, and you're going to want to purchase a few things from that site. First is going to be a vehicle scanner. I would recommend purchasing the level 3 vehicle scanner because you could see vehicles a lot further away from you. And you're going to need to go to a tattoo parlor and get a face tattoo with a skull on it, which will cost most of the time about $50,000. Once you do all that, you're ready to go to start stealing cars. So go into the darknet, take an order for a theft, and then you could start stealing your car. Make sure you don't steal it from an unscripted green zone, and make sure you don't VDM it out of anywhere. Try to create some RP scenarios if you can, but if you just see the car sitting at the side of the road somewhere, go ahead and start stealing it, and then all you gotta do is drive around in that car for a decent amount of time, and once the timer runs out, you will be rewarded with a big paycheck. Once again, it all depends on your level, and it doesn't take too long to get from level 1 to level 3, especially if you put the time in to steal these cars. You can only steal one car per day. So if you're starting off at level 1, it's obviously going to take a pretty decent amount of time to get all the way up to level 3, but you might as well start your day off. Head on to the game, steal a car, and then maybe after a month, you're already level 3 and you're stealing some multi-million-dollar cars, and each day you're profiting over $1 million just from stealing different cars once a day in Grand RP. Another great way to make money is joining a legal org. You can go out and arrest people, give out tickets, and show up to events. Certain events will give you $10,000 if you manage to win the event, and if you show up to store robberies, you can also make an additional $10,000 every time you win a store robbery, and they can happen every hour or so because honestly, people rob stores a lot in Grand RP. And then of course you can give out tickets. Like I said, if you hop in a tow truck, start driving around the city, all you gotta do is walk up to the car, and if they're parked illegally, give them a fine. You'll get a portion of the amount that you fine them for added to your paycheck, and then if you tow the car as well and impound it, you will also get a portion of that amount added to your paycheck. My friend did that exact thing for about 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and he got an additional $8,000 added to his paycheck. One of my other friends was really grinding it out, doing as much PD stuff as he could, and he almost made $100,000 in just 1 hour, which is insane. I think that's one of the highest amounts anybody's ever made from LSPD in 1 hour. So you can truly make a ton of money from doing that. That's kind of what I've been doing in LSPD at the moment, just driving around, handing out fines, and towing cars, because at the end of the day, it'll end up being a lot of extra money that you get added to your paycheck. You can also do the exact opposite thing. Join a gang. Go and rob people, and every time you rob them, you could steal a maximum of $50,000, which is awesome. Just make sure you follow the rules, or else you can get in a lot of trouble. You can also go to different types of gang events, and as a gang member, you can attack stores, which will help benefit your entire gang, and your gangs will give out bonuses, which is great. Plus, if you are a gang member or you're just not in a legal org, you're allowed to steal cars as well. If you're in a legal org, you're not allowed to steal cars because obviously you're being kind of corrupt there. So obviously being in gangs will end up making you a lot more money at the end of the day. Just make sure you follow all the rules and you know exactly what you're doing, or you could end up getting in trouble with the admins, and there's also a very high chance you'll get in trouble with LSPD or FIB because you're doing a bunch of illegal shit and they're probably going to try to arrest you. But you can make a ton of money being a gang member. You can also join a family and show up to events like Biz War. If you win the event, you can collect a portion of the profits from that business. Depending on the business, you can make your family millions of dollars. If the business is chip tuning, for example, in the middle of the city, or a custom shop in the middle of the city, those businesses make a ton of money. And if you get a portion of that, you're going to be making a lot of money as well. And there's tons of other family events where you could profit from as well, like leftover components. You just head over there, try to get the components to the guns, and then you can go over to the foundry and start building those guns and then sell them to people. You can go to the aircraft carrier and try to steal weapons for your family. You can go to hotel takeover and try to take over the hotel. You can also rob stores as a family. There is so much different stuff you could do if you're in a family, and it allows you to make tons and tons of money. So I would highly recommend joining a family if you haven't already. And then of course you could join a family that is unofficial, which means they're an unofficial organization. And they could do things called informal events, which can make you a lot of money as well. For every single one that you win, you get to collect profits from each event that you win, I guess. So if you win the one at the quarry, then you get to collect profits from the quarry. And that will stay for a maximum of 24 hours. And I believe the minimum you can get per hour from that is about $10,000. It's probably a little bit more, but I can't really remember at this point in time. But you can make a lot of money from that. Let's say you just win 3 of those and you're paid out only $10,000, you have a chance of making up to $750,000 within 24 hours just from winning those events, which is pretty crazy, and I believe that number is actually a little bit higher. If you want to see all the families that are unofficial, all you gotta do is go to informal organizations, and you'll see all of the families listed on the right side of the screen right there, and you can also see how many they have won, which means if they've won 3, they're collecting profits from those until that informal shows up once again, which like I said, it usually does within 24 hours. One time we won 1, the server reset, and the first thing that popped up the second the server got back up was that informal that we just won, which kind of sucked, which means we didn't really make too much money off of it, but you can make a ton of money from doing this, so I would highly recommend it. Plus, if your family is unofficial, you're pretty much like a gang. You could rob people, search people, steal cash, and steal guns, which is pretty great, and of course you could take them hostage, show up to a store, rob the store, and then the police are going to have to give you something to save that hostage's life. So it's honestly really fun. You can make a lot of money from being in families, and even more money if your family is an unofficial organization. Another great way to make money is buying a bunker. They cost $4 million. You can pick whichever one you want. If you play GTA Online, I like to purchase the farmhouse bunker because it's really, really close to the city, so that's the one that I went with. But bunkers are used to produce different types of goods, from seeds and threads to guns and cryptocurrency mining. They require batteries and they take time to produce the goods. Some only take like 4 or 5 hours, and then others will take like 16 hours. It all depends on which product you're creating, and obviously the ones that take a really long time will end up paying out a lot more because when you sell them, they're worth more money. Since they take a lot longer to produce, a lot of people just don't bother doing it. And then once you produce enough goods, you could stock up on them and sell them to people privately or sell them at black market if they are illegal items. Now, it doesn't matter which products you're creating at your bunker, you're going to need a battery unless you're doing cryptocurrency mining where all you need is a video card. But to get batteries, you need solar panels, and I would highly recommend doing this as a side hustle as well. If you purchase solar panels for somebody who owns a 24/7 store, I would recommend purchasing a bulk order of them so you can get them at a very cheap price, and then you can go and put ads out saying you're looking for people for solar plantation. You can offer them $5,000, which by the way is above average what the normal person pays someone to put a solar panel down, since each person can only place 1 down per day. And then once they put that one down, you can then tell them to leave, and all you got to do is keep checking up on that solar panel, making sure you repair it every 30 minutes when it needs to be repaired, and then yeah, once it's done collecting enough energy, the battery will be charged. You could sell that battery for upwards of $23,000 each, or you could take it to your bunker and use it to produce goods instead of you having to go out and purchase batteries, which will obviously decrease your profits. So if you buy solar panels in bulk, then you produce your own batteries in bulk, and then you go and use those batteries at your bunker, you could produce a bunch of items, and you could save a lot of money in the end game. If you get 20 people to place down solar panels, and like I said, if you pay them $5,000 each, you can profit a total of $360,000 after paying every single one of them. And then like I said, use those at your bunker and you're pretty much good to go. And then once you've gathered up enough money, you could purchase a business. And then with that business, you could post ads for it, and people will come to the business and buy your products, either being a juice shop or an ATM. Maybe your tax rate is really high and you start to profit a pretty decent amount of money. And now you're just getting rich in the city, and now you can lay back and relax and have a great time, buy some cool cars, buy some houses, or maybe upgrade your business in the future. There's a ton of different ways to make money in the game, but I believe these methods I just told you are some of the best, so I would highly recommend trying them out if you haven't already. Anyways, that's pretty much going to wrap the video up for today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you went on to enjoy it, and with that said, I will catch you guys in the next one.